Welcome to Nugget 194 with Steve Groman. And what will we be talking about today?
We are going to discuss a July-August 2021 Discover magazine. They asked the question, where did music come from?
Where did music come from?
Well, I got a pretty good suspicion that God invented it.
And what does this article say?
Did humans evolve to sing and dance, or did we invent our musical pastimes? Scientists are still debating the origin of this universal behavior. Isn't that funny how they debate everything all the time?
Absolutely, because they're denying the Creator.
They deny what God said and what He's done and who He is, and then they wonder about His creation. It's interesting. But anyway, it just starts off, look anywhere, and you'll find music. Without a single exception, every culture produces some form of it, like language. It's a universal trait in our species, and over millennia, it has bloomed into a diverse and stunning global symphony. Yet music's origin remains one of the great secrets of human history. I don't think it's a big secret to God. God mentions music, song, sang. Exodus, way back in Exodus, is the first occurrence. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. First occurrence of sang and sing and such. The first occurrence of music is in 1 Samuel 18:6.
So we definitely know that God created music. It's just part of our language and the way that we communicate. It's found throughout the Bible.
It's found all over in the Bible, as a matter of fact.
But back to this article, what are these guys saying?
Well, the oldest known instruments are 42,000 years old. Wow. I don't know about that.
It's a bone flute.
Bone flutes discovered in a cave in Germany. Well, you know what? Biblical tools and biblical instruments would have been a little primitive oftentimes compared to what we look at now, too. But that's all right. I mean, it's just that's what they used. They used what they had available to them.
This article says, vocal music surely predates these, but the problem, according to University of Amsterdam musicologist Henk Jan Honing, is that music doesn't fossilize, and our brains don't fossilize. With little hard evidence, scientists still debate what evolutionary purpose music serves.
Stop right there a minute. That's what everything has to have an evolutionary purpose for these folks. Everything does. When people deny the Creator, they have to come up with an alternative to explain everything. And in this case, it's even music, but it doesn't have to have an evolutionary purpose.
Well, if you believe in evolution, evolution is the cause and the reason and the methodology of everything, including music. And that's probably why they're having such a difficult problem with this subject, is there isn't anything they can put their hands on. And I think they actually mentioned that later on in the article.
Right. And it goes on here, and because its purpose is obscure enough to warrant debate, some skeptics question whether it serves any purpose at all. And of course, look who they bring up next. Charles Darwin thought it did. In music, he found evidence for his lesser-known theory of sexual selection, drawing a comparison with birdsong, which is partially a courtship tactic. He proposes in his book, Descent of Man, which we have Descent of Man, as a matter of fact.
Right.
But it's music, according to this, is for the sake of charming the opposite sex. And we know that birds sing songs.
Isn't that what they're made to do? Especially the songbirds?
Yes. I think that's why they call them songbirds, as a matter of fact.
For decades, music researchers have more or less settled into two camps. Those who believe their subject of study is a biological adaptation, and those who believe it's a cultural invention. In the latter argument, the rhythms, melodies, and harmonies we cherish are no more than frivolous luxuries. Auditory cheesecake, as evolutionary psychologist Steven Pinker memorably put in his 1997 book, How the Mind Works. Well, I don't like what he says at all.
No, that is kind of the way they think, though. But God made music. God is the one that invented music. People have worshipped with music. People have gone to war with music. People have lived their life in all kinds of different facets of it, and music is a big, major part of it.
Music is important. God created it for our enjoyment and for different purposes, as you've mentioned.
So it's not a frivolous luxury?
No.
No, I don't think so.
We have made it a very important part of church services, for sure. It has become a key element in church services.
It has. I'm not sure I agree with this statement either. As far as biological cause and effect are concerned, music is useless, Pinker wrote. Music could vanish from our species and the rest of our lifestyle would be virtually unchanged.
I think a lot of people would beg to differ with this guy.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that at all, as a matter of fact.
Some found this verdict too dismissive. After all, the capacity to make and enjoy music seems ingrained in each of us. just like other valuable adaptations. These days, music is a profession, but even ordinary mortals who never had a music lesson have implicit knowledge of the structure of the music of their culture, says Sandra Trehub, a psychologist at the University of Toronto. They may not know an arpeggio from an interval, but they can keep a beat, copy a pitch, and move their bodies to sound. Trehub studies music perception in infants. They're quite captivated by music, she says, and their aptitude for distinguishing differences in pitch and timing is, in many ways, similar to adults. Well, we all know that babies like lullabies, right?
They do, and we see little babies and young children in churches all the time, and when songs are playing, and they're just dancing up a storm. And
right, they love it.
They love it. They get involved big time.
It proves that God created music and for us to enjoy it. And that may be why this evolutionary guy is poo-pooing music, because he can't explain it through an evolutionary means.
No, there can't be.
And since it is a creation of God for his creation to enjoy, he has got to dismiss it.
Right.
But fortunately, not everyone is. So, as the saying goes, the beat goes on, right?
The beat goes on, and it starts at a very, very young age, because God built it in the first place. It's interesting in this article, it says some researchers even argue that the earliest version of music, whatever it entailed, may have given rise to language itself. Darwin believed this. Once again, they have to have even language arising on its own from some evolutionary adaptation of some sort. Most of you know, when we know that God is the creator, he is the one that made us in his image and likeness, I dare say if we have a fondness for music, it's probably a pretty good assurance that God has a fondness for music.
Yes, and it seems sort of crazy that they have to bring up evolution in music, but evolution is their God.
It is. It has to have brought about absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything.
In their thinking. And it's sad. It's a shame. Because also, by the way, these are the people that teach our children a lot of times.
Well, it teaches everyone, even those in college, no matter how old they are.
Yes.
You can't get away from it, even in music.
No, not even in music.
Again, the Bible is replete with references to music and singing and praising and worshiping God. That is the focus. That is the purpose.
Yes, and as this article pretty much indicates throughout, that when you take God out of the picture and you don't allow there to be a God that created and ordained and orchestrated and brought about anything, then they draw at straws to try to figure out where things come from, and in this case, music.
Crazy. All right. Well, thank you.